Hey everyone, and welcome to Endzone 2. So, this is a post-apocalyptic survival colony builder, where your job is to secure humanity's survival after a disaster. Now, before I say anything else, this is a sponsored video, just so you know. And this is actually a pretty interesting game. It is launching into early access on August the 26th. And I already played for about 3 hours. There's a tutorial. And it seems to be pretty long. I still haven't finished the tutorial 3 hours later. So I will show you how the game starts, and then I will load my save to show you what happens a little bit later into the game. So, yeah, there's a survival mode, there's something that hasn't been revealed yet, I guess. Scenarios of some sort. And there's the tutorial. Yeah, we can start from the tutorial, I will show you. Also, one more thing I wanted to mention is that if you find this game interesting, one of the best things you can do for pretty much any game on Steam is to wishlist it, because that helps their visibility. And there's quite a bit to this game. It's not just about building a colony, you actually build multiple colonies. You can move and trade between them. There's a significant exploration component to the game. You can even control a single person and explore like one single building to find stuff. Okay, here we are, in our bus. This is how the game starts.
I'm going to look over your shoulder while you help our settlers set up a new home. At the moment, all our settlers are in the Pathfinder, and you can explore the surrounding area with them. But time is tight. When the water in the Pathfinder is used up, everyone inside will die of thirst.
Yeah, so this is the Pathfinder, and you use it to colonize your first zone. And later on in the game, you also use the bus to create new colonies. You basically just load up the bus with resources and people, then you find a new colonizable zone, and you can start a second colony. You will always have some zones that have resources not available elsewhere. So you won't really be able to start one colony that has everything you need. You'll need several colonies to get access to resources you wouldn't have access to otherwise. And there are quite a lot of resources in this game. I can't show you yet, but I'll show you later. Yeah, so our first task is to find a colonizable zone with some fertile soil, so we don't die of hunger and thirst. And you can actually see that as we move, we slowly use up our water. If our water runs out, well, we basically die. That's it. Now, this is a tutorial, so they want us to start right here. However, we can control where exactly we want to start. However, our bus cannot enter like the green zone. So if I try, I cannot actually do that. I have to stop here, at the edge. Anyway, we can start our first building right here. We have some water in the back, but I can't really get much closer to it, so this is perfectly fine. And yeah, as you can see, the water just keeps dropping. You can pause the game, you can also speed it up. This is obviously a real-time game, but you can pause anytime you want and then do whatever you want while the game is paused. Anyway, let's start our settlement here.
For the center of our settlement. Once chosen,
then we need to place the actual town center. So somewhere in the middle, close to the scrap, close to the water, and relatively close to the soil right here, fertile soil. We have some clay over here, but we won't be doing that until quite a bit later. So over here-ish is fine. We have trees nearby.
We have to ensure survival.
Yeah, so first we need water. And there are a few things down here. So we have the vehicles tab. Right now we only have one. And I can just double click on it and jump to it. We can move it manually. Later on we'll be able to establish trade routes right here. And we can automate them. Obviously I can't do that right now because we don't even have a single settlement yet. Well, technically we have one. We can also see the resources available in this zone right here. So this is an easy way to see what resources you have in this particular zone. Here we got buildings. This is the construction menu, and there are quite a few in here, as you can see. There are quite a few categories, and quite a lot of buildings overall. Right here. Here we got resources, and there are more than just this. I can choose what resource I want to display up here. So for example, instead of rubber glove, I can have clay over here. Obviously I have none at the moment, and I won't have any until later, but here are all the resources. There are quite a few, and some of them you don't start getting until much, much later. Anyway, let's get ourselves some water, shall we? We can build a jetty over here, we can rotate, so something like this looks perfectly fine. There we go. We can build the road, but we don't have to. So it's generally recommended to have buildings connected with a road to a material depot and a settlement center, but they will function if they're not connected. It's not a strict requirement to connect them. Here we can see who's assigned to what. There's not a whole lot in here at the moment, but there will be later on. So once we build the jetty, I can speed it up just a tiny little bit here. We'll be able to assign the water carriers. I can do it by clicking on the building right here and assigning them here, or I can do it on the professions tab and assign them over here.
As long as workers are assigned,
I can also change the view from the default, which is this one, to analytics view production. So this way you will be able to see at a glance which building produces what and how quickly. I really like this view because later on you'll have quite a lot of buildings doing all kinds of stuff, and it might not be very obvious which one is doing what and how quickly. So this is a very useful view.
Water alone is not.
We also have this one here, so we can see that this building is not linked to the town center at the moment.
They can search for food.
And there's also the view of soil types. We kind of basically already saw that earlier. Anyway, next up we need some food. Obviously we wouldn't want to starve to death. That would not be advisable. We can just build a foraging hut right next to the settlement center. You can also move the work area. I'll show you once I actually build this. The jetty does not have a work area, but the foraging hut does. And I can move it. I can even move it much further away from the building. However, I will get a penalty. You can actually see on the tooltip right here that icon. You can see it will take 4 times longer if I place it this far. But I can place it this far if I want to. There's no actual point doing that, but it is a possibility. I can do it. Now we can assign some people, and I can move it like this. This will not affect the time at all, but we'll have more food in our work area. So we can do exactly that. We'll assign 3 foragers.
As long as there are sufficient resources in its vicinity.
Yes, exactly. We can relocate the work area, like I said.
Erect new buildings.
Now we need materials for buildings. So there are all kinds of materials, but we start from the most basic one, which is, as you might have guessed, wood. Now, they will actually cut down the trees, and we'll have to replant them a little bit later, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Not something to really be concerned about. We can place it here. We can actually already place the road. This will be an objective a little bit later. Oh, actually I can't, because that requires tools, I believe. Yes, indeed. We'll get that later. Not yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. You can also prioritize which building you want people to work on first. Right now this will do nothing because there's only one, but you can do that. Here we have the number of idle workers, and the number of adults, and the number of children. Alright, here's the woodcutting lodge. We can assign a few people. We don't need 5 lumberjacks.
By the way,
2 or 3 will be enough for now. You can also see whether you're gaining or losing the resource up here with the arrow.
But the town's besides wood, the most important building material is scrap. Build a scrapyard which
Yeah, so next we need scrap. This is a very important material. And we have all kinds of scrap over here. Also, the ruins of various buildings count as scrap. So this right here, this is all scrap, highlighted in light blue. There's more over here, both on the ground and these buildings. So like this would be a great spot, but it's a little bit far away. So for now, this one will be significantly better. We can rotate this. And again, we can change the work area, so I don't have to build it like over here. I can build it a bit closer to my town center. Like, let's say, right here, this is fine. This is perfectly fine. So we'll build the scrapyard. And then we'll probably get plastic and tools. So let's speed things up a little bit, like so. We can prioritize it, but there's no real need. There we go. And we'll probably need houses pretty soon. Here.
Well done.
We got some salvagers.
Settlement will be supplied with scrap. Our people are still sleeping beneath the stars.
Let's just keep the number the game wants us to keep for now.
For more inhabitants.
Yeah, so next up we need some houses. And you will get more children in your colony as long as you have some living space. So you will keep getting more people as long as you have living space for them. Alright, so they can be somewhere over here. This is fine. I leave some space between them. For like roads and things like that, perhaps. Yeah, this is fine. Alright. Yeah, if you don't have enough resources, the game will place a blueprint. And later on, once you do get the resources, you can click on the arrow and place the building. Not just here, but there will be an arrow, like right here, on top of the actual blueprint. There is also an option to build a blueprint yourself, even if you do have the resources. Maybe you want to plan your settlement layout ahead of time, so you can do that. Alright, let's build these. They will be done pretty soon here. Yeah, we actually need plastic right now. Yeah, right here. We are getting scrap. Yeah, no, this should actually finish. Will it? Oh yeah, I placed 5. Yeah, my bad. I actually placed 5. That's why the extra one doesn't have enough plastic. That's okay. It can stay here. This is not an actual placed building. Again, this is just a blueprint.
Our settlers will reproduce. Our settlement
Yeah, exactly. As long as we have enough living space, our settlers will reproduce. Now we need the recycler to get actual plastic. It can be right next to the scrapyard. That's preferable. Right here is good. There you go. Speed things up. We are still gaining water and food, but you need to keep an eye on these things, because as you get more people, they will need more water and food, obviously. And if you run out of water, well, they will die of thirst,
Process resources,
which is not what you want.
located near their source. The recycler requires scrap, so the workshop not only needs scrap, but wood as well.
Yep.
It's best if both resources are produced nearby. But don't worry if you're not able to
Yeah, it's best if they are nearby, but they don't have to be. It's not that big of a deal. Relatively nearby is good enough. Alright, so next up we need a workshop. That will allow us to make tools, and then we'll be able to actually build roads, which will speed things up. We'll also need depots, but we'll get there soon enough. We only have 2 available workers now. If you have 0 available workers, they will not actually build things. Something to keep in mind. And now, because I changed my map option, we can see which building is producing what. This is actually not the default. This is the default. This is the default view. But I like to switch on the production view here. because that makes it very, very obvious which building is doing what, but also how quickly or how slowly is doing it. And here you can see the arrow for the blueprint. Right now I do not have enough materials, so I can't place it. But it will not be grayed out once I get enough materials. Alright, now we can assign people.
Very good.
So
Now we have
tool
tools
makers.
and tools. Things which are needed. The settlement is growing, and soon.
Yeah, now we want a fishery to get another source of food. Right here is perfectly fine. It can be right next to the jetty, that's fine. There you go. That shouldn't take long, but we will need to wait for some tools. So I can assign one more person. I can speed things up. And now it's zooming. And like I said, there are a lot of resources in this game. And I don't know how many colonies you can run at the same time eventually, like in the late game. But you will be running multiple colonies doing different things. Which is why there are trade routes, or transport routes. You can automate them. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Okay, that should be done like pretty soon here. Yep. Yeah, so now I can pay to place the building. There you go. And it will be done pretty quickly. Next up, we'll probably need the roads. One more person. And it's basically done. Here, now we can get some fish. Give the man a fish, and you'll feed him for a day. Teach the man to fish, and you'll feed him for a lifetime. That was also a Civilization 4 quote, by the way. Oh, yeah, see? I actually don't have that many workers, so I have not assigned two. I can, however, prioritize this building, and then we should get two. Maybe not right away. I can also obviously just remove people from some other buildings,
Fishery is more effective
like
than
this
forging
one.
hut. It constantly uses up tools. For this reason, the fishery produces faster when tools are produced near it. Now we also need cloth. Cloth is produced from fibers.
Yeah, so next up we want cloth, which means we want a plantation, which has to be built on a fertile soil. So right here, plantation. This is the area. See, I can't even build it right here. It's not even an option, because it's the wrong type of soil. I can build it here, I can build it here. Let's build it here-ish. So right here or so. This is good enough. Okay, this is good enough. Then we want to actually build it first. Yeah, and now I'll need to free up at least one person. Let's remove one here. Yeah, we can remove people from food and just watch our stockpile, whether it's going up or down. Right now it's still going up. If I remove one person from water, it's still going up. If I remove two, it's still going up. Now it will probably go down. No, it's still going up. Oh yeah, see? Now I have 0 assigned, which means my water reserves are actually dropping. Which is obviously not what we want. Yeah, I think you need a moment for the effect to kick in. 1 is not enough, but 2 are enough. At least for the time being. Anyway, where's that plantation? Right here. Did we build it? Yeah, right here. So now, yeah, it's basically done. So first we want to actually cultivate the area up to 100 tiles. You can change the seed, but right now there's nothing to change it to. There's just fiber, and the fiber is what we want. So now I can just mark the area like so. Something like this, so that it will look good. We can do up to 100. There we go, 100. And now we can start working.
Done.
Done.
Till now, we can only grow fibers. But if we find more types of seeds, The fibers are crafted into cloth at a weaving mill. This requires water in addition to fibers.
Yes, so we need a weaving mill, which will require both water and fibers. Yeah, here's the settlement overview and resource bar. So I talked about that already. So next up, we want a weaving mill. And yeah, there are quite a few buildings in this game, and you actually have to research them. I will show you that as well. So we want it somewhere over here-ish. You can see down here what's in the general vicinity. So the water will not be close, but that's fine. I could have built the plantation here to have the water closer, but it's not that big of a deal. It's not a deal breaker or anything like that. We will have the road connection. We'll get to the road building pretty soon. I can show you the research briefly. So this is the research. I cannot actually do it yet because we need knowledge points, and we'll get to that later. But it does take a while to research these things, because you need materials, you need knowledge points. So yeah. Recycling center, upgraded town center, nomad. Yeah, that's actually the vehicle. Titan, an even bigger vehicle. A lead mine, copper mine, rain collector. You get the idea. And then we have expeditions. So this is basically you exploring some ruins. Usually a single building, and you do it with an actual person. You get an actual person who steps out of your vehicle and explores the area. You control that person directly. That part has some puzzle elements. So what you basically need to do is, for example, find a ladder to get into a building, then find a generator around the building, get electricity going, and then you can use that to open the gate. That's an example sequence of events you might have to do on an expedition in a building. And then you get a knowledge point in that building. Yeah, so here I can place the house, the blueprint that I placed earlier, but I don't want to do that yet, so there's no need to do that yet.
Water supply ever runs low. You can pause the work at the weaving mill, saving valuable.
Yes, exactly. We can pause the work anytime we want, obviously.
Space for the settlement to keep growing. We're going to need all the helping hands we can get.
Yeah, so now we need more shelters, because we need more people. Now I can place this, and I'm going to need a few more. So right here. There are bigger houses later, but in 3 hours I haven't unlocked them. So that takes a while. So we can overlap with fertile soil, like by 1 tile. It's not that big of a deal. It looks nice and neat this way. I could build it here where the trees are, but we can build them like down here perhaps. On this side of the town center. There you go. Now we just need to wait to get the resources, and our water reserves are dropping. So we can just assign another person. Here you go. Except I need to get these people from elsewhere. So since cloth is not that important, we can just keep one person assigned to the weaving mill. It's not a big deal. We might still need another one. Scrapyard. One person in the scrapyard is actually going to be enough for now. We won't be using that much scrapyard. I think we'll need another jetty pretty soon, actually. Yeah, here. This is because we are using it for the cloth. Right here. And not just to drink. So I could just turn this off and reduce my water usage. If I desperately needed more water not to starve, I could just turn off the weaving mill. The one thing that would be nice is if you could see the input resources on this view. That would be nice. You can do this, but this is not the same. This is like the town center link, depots in vicinity. But it would be nice if you could see the actual input resources here. It's not that big of a deal because you'll remember pretty quickly which building uses what. But it would be helpful if you could. And I don't know how complex these things get later on. I can try to guess. Alright, one more shelter. I might have to place that one manually here. There you go. And we'll start getting more people soon after. Because now they have places to live. Next up, we'll probably want roads. I can already build roads. I don't have to wait. I can build them myself like so. We probably want to connect the plantation here.
Thanks
Yes,
to
we do indeed.
our little settlement will soon be thriving, and our stock houses will be full.
There you go. So these are connected now. As you can see, road link to town center has been activated.
If the storage site is full, it needs to be expanded.
Yeah, now we'll need the depots. Storage space. There are 3 different types. For water, for food, and for materials. So let's start from water, shall we? We need 5 plastic. We can maybe speed up the plastic production a little bit. We have the people, so we can do that. We are losing scrap now, so one more person into the scrapyard. And you can do all this through this panel right here. Whichever you find to be more convenient works. It's basically the same exact thing. Okay, so let's just place it somewhere over here. Close to where we are actually getting the water. Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal if we overlap with some of the fertile soil. It's not really a big deal, but I can place it like here. This is still like in general vicinity, or at least it should be. Okay, it should still be in the general vicinity. Yeah, so this boosts the building efficiency by 10%. I'm actually not sure if it's 10% per building. I have not checked that. If I place 2, will it boost it by 20%? Well, I guess we'll find out. I actually have not paid attention to that part earlier. So, will be nice to find out. Yeah, the second one could go here. Okay, let's just have the second one here. That's acceptable. Now we just wait for the resources. Let's speed things up a little bit. But yeah, this is basically the colony building part. It does keep getting more complex than this, but these are the basics. And there are quite a few extra resources we'll need. Even for our basic needs, there's also radioactive contamination of settlers here, and there are several things we'll need, the first one of which are activated carbon masks. And then more stuff later on. Yeah, here's actually a list of things that provide radiation protection. Okay, so is it plus 20%? And no, wait, that's fishery. No, it's still plus 10%. Or is this one actually slightly out of range? No, it's in range because it's highlighted. I had the bonus earlier. So it does not give plus 20%. Good to know. Anyway, now we need 4 depots and materials. So let's get that done. This should probably be like somewhere over here. We can build it on top of the tree. It's not really a big deal, because we can plant the trees ourselves. And we'll be able to do that soon enough, actually. Now we can build a road to connect it. That's the option to demolish a road, not quite what we want. Technically, like 1 tile should be enough. Because this is the town center right here. Like, that's the actual town center. Does that count? Let me actually check if that counts. Yeah, that should count. The depot needs to be in the vicinity. The connection needs to be to the town center. So, yeah. That's it. One more. So, one more. Where is it? Right here. Okay. We don't have the fishery, so I can have both in range, like this. Yep, sounds good. Let's have both in range. Even though that, again, does not give double bonus. We can just do this. It will look a little bit nicer. And then a material depot. For basically everything else, anything that's not food or water goes into this one. So you can see which buildings are highlighted blue. So we probably want to build one here and one here. That makes sense to me. So like over here is good. And then one over here, close to all the other buildings. This is fine. Alright. And we can have a road. Like this. Like this. And probably the scrapyard too. Yep.
Each stock site increases
Alright, there we go.
the number of resources that can be stockpiled in a settlement. If the stocks are full, our production is
Yes, more depots means bigger stockpile. And we are losing water. Let's actually pause here for a moment or slow down
produces more effectively
and assign one more
in
person.
the town center.
And again, I could stop the weaving mill, but there's no need to do that. It's fine. However, I'll probably want to build a second jetty pretty soon. In fact, it might be a good idea to just build it in advance, because water is one of the more important resources. If you run out of water, like, you die. Your people literally die if you run out of water. That's it.
The more buildings you connect via your road network, the more stable the production at your settlement.
Yeah, so I've already done that. Way ahead of you. Way ahead of you. Here you go. Connect that to the town center. Alright. Yeah, we might as well do this. Here. Okay, yep. That works. Back to the production view we go.
When our economy thrives,
We have 11 spare unassigned
Luckily, we
settlers.
can grow our wood. That's what we have the tree nursery for.
The water.
Yep, now we can regrow the trees.
If nothing changes, it'll be the end of us. We've got to do something.
Yeah, we will do something. Don't you worry about that. Don't you worry about that. Alright, tree nursery. So right here. It makes sense to build it close to the actual woodcutting lodge. And again, I can relocate this work zone. So we can have it right here. So that we won't get the actual penalty. Yeah, auto-saving. And now we can just build... Whoops, wrong building. Right here, tree nursery. So like over here is good. There you go. Maybe connect it with a road. And then we can just have the work area overlap. I can move the work area without having to wait to actually finish building it. It doesn't have to like exactly overlap. Obviously, like it doesn't have to be the exact same thing. Just close enough. It will replant the trees, that's the important part. It basically overlaps now, almost exactly. Close enough, alright? Close enough. Let's speed things up again. This is now day 4. Go on. There we go, assign foresters. Get to work.
The tree nursery will plant trees within its work area that can be used again.
Also, you can rename your settlement.
That way, we create a healthy loop.
It is now Marbograd. We can also change the color. We can change the icon. And there are quite a few around here. There we go. We are now Marbograd. Because why not?
Geiger counters begin to swing hotter.
Yep, here's the radiation protection that I mentioned.
Oh no!
That's going to be next. So now we need coal. And for that, we need a coal kiln. Yes, this game has coal too. Fortunately, you don't need to have an actual coal resource, because anyone who has watched me play Civilization knows my luck with that. Or lack of it. You guys know, I don't have to tell you. There you go. And then we'll need another building, but let's not get ahead of ourselves just yet. How's our stockpile? Let's get more people on scrap. And yeah, I can move the work area a bit. So, just to have more stuff in range without getting the penalty. So that works. We have 3 people on plastic, and we will need quite a lot of plastic in the long run. And we can have more people on tools. I can always remove them later, but for now they can work on that. We can place the coal kiln. There you go. That will be done soon enough. Prioritize, just in case they were working on anything else. And that's that.
Coal is made from wood. When wood gets scarce, assign more settlers to the woodcutter's house.
Yeah, we will need enough wood,
Protective mask,
which is fine.
coal and cloth.
One wood cutting lodge should be enough for a while. But we can keep an eye on our wood stockpile, whether it's going up or down. So next up we'll need the tailor's workshop. And he will make the masks. So somewhere relatively close is fine. Over here is good. But he'll also need the cloth. Okay, road. He needs cloth and coal. Go on. Let's speed things up a little bit. We still have 8 available workers, so we're good on population.
If a settlement
Yeah,
is
he needs cloth and coal,
where
like I
settlers
said.
are unprotected, that can
And 1 tailor is enough.
The
for
protective
now.
clothing we've just produced is truly
Our fears have been confirmed. The radiation levels are
Yeah, toxic rain. For 6 minutes. The soil radioactivity is increasing faster.
the higher the radiation level in a particular zone, the better we have to protect our settlers. If the residents are not
Yeah, so this basically implies that in the later zones you will need more advanced protection equipment.
excessive radiation exposure,
Possibly later in the game in earlier zones?
although the
Who
protection
knows?
is sufficient for
I didn't get that far.
whether from radiation, poor supplies, or simply old age.
Yes, people do actually die, which means we want to build a graveyard. To keep them relatively happy, so that we don't have corpses on the streets. That would probably be pretty bad. Yeah, so this doesn't really have to be too close to everything else. This is fine. Good enough. Get the road. Can make it look a little bit nicer. Looks a little bit awkward like that. But I don't want to waste too many tools. We got 17. Plus 2.7 per minute. You can see the exact amount that you're getting per minute or losing on the tooltip, so that is definitely useful. You can see how quickly you're producing something. Or how slowly, in some cases. Definitely how slowly. In many cases. Alright, we will probably need more people soon enough, because we're getting more and more buildings that we need workers for, but we will
Now we
run
have
out
to
of workers.
mourn and commemorate those who came and went before us. I think we've put down roots here.
One undertaker should be enough for
Expand our
now.
settlement. We're not able to simply mine clay yet. We lack.
Okay, I think now we'll get to explore. So I can show you how that works.
Take the Pathfinder.
Yep, okay, now we can take our Pathfinder, which is our bus basically, right here. You can either just select it manually, or you can do this. Just select the vehicle menu and double click on it, and you'll move to it automatically. So now we can actually go and explore. I can show you how that works. We can click on the minimap here. And there are at least 2 types of buildings. 3, possibly. Maybe more. But generally speaking, there are buildings you can just loot things from. You just drive up to the building, you click, and you can loot a bunch of resources from it. And there are buildings you can launch expeditions at, which is a little bit more involved. And we'll get to that part too. It is going to be part of the tutorial. Maybe I won't have to load my later save. Obviously now I'm going much faster because I know what I'm doing. So that clearly helps. knowing what I'm doing.
On my way.
But yeah, this is actually a pretty interesting game. There's more to it than meets the eye initially. Definitely. I don't know like how many colonies you run later on. But as you saw, there are quite a lot of different resources. And a fair bit of research, which is not quick. Yeah, so now... Oh, this is actually the expedition. Yeah, so now I actually control this person. Here you can see progress.
Let's go.
I can loot a bunch of resources. And there will be a knowledge point to find here. We found an axe. That will be useful.
This old safe can't.
So here I need the tools.
Substantial effort.
I can find them somewhere else in this general area. Come on.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
I'm limited where I can go. So I can't move up here, can I?
Let's go.
No, I cannot. Can I? Yeah, I can. No, no. Okay, okay, fair enough. I can't. Let's check out that car. Okay, 57%, and there we go. We gained a knowledge point.
The road.
And we still need the tools. I'm sure they are around here somewhere.
Let's
So this part gets like a little bit puzzly,
This old safe. This old safe.
because I can't get this without the
without
tools.
substantial effort.
And they will generally be somewhere around here. I'm at 57% progress at the moment. And I can't go any further in this direction. Yeah, they're definitely in here somewhere. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to see, like the tiny details. This is the max possible zoom level, by the way. So I can't go any further in this direction. Okay.
On the road.
I'm just checking how far I can go. Maybe over here. Let's check this area. We can zoom in.
On the road.
It usually gets highlighted when you move close. So usually it's like semi-obvious. I mean, not super obvious, but it can be semi-obvious.
On the road.
So this is the limit of where I can go, is it? Yeah, this is the limit of where I can go.
Go.
I can go back to the Pathfinder to like deposit the stuff I found. I can just click this to end the expedition. Okay, where the heck are the tools? This is a little bit awkward. We did get the knowledge point, so we got to the important part. I could just leave right now, but I kind of wanted to open the safe, to be honest.
Can't be cracked without substantial effort. On the road.
Okay, let's end the expedition really quick. I'll move everything into the Pathfinder, like so.
Our explorers have extensively explored.
Yeah, we could always come back here later. We don't have to do everything in one go,
Also use that point to research the kind
but I
of
can click on this place
acquire knowledge points.
and see that is 57% completed. Yeah, see? So wait, can I not check this house? Let me check again. I should be able to check this house. Let's start closer to
Lots
it.
of scrap lying around
Yes.
here. We're sure to find things that are still useful.
Okay, it's probably going to be over here-ish. Do I need an axe? Nope. You can sometimes like move into these buildings. Okay, this is not a building.
Let's go.
This is like a truck. Okay, fair enough.
On the road.
We don't have the tools yet. Yeah, I thought that the tools might be somewhere around
On
here.
the road.
I would think so. In the back, but I can't go there. That's the thing. I can't quite get there. Which is
On the road.
a little bit annoying. There's nothing in here as far as I can tell.
The road.
So no tools here. At least not directly. But now I'm 85% done. Yeah, we have glass, axe, scrap, rubber glove, food, brick. But no tools. Iron tools specifically. So it's not a resource I can just bring with me. Unfortunately.
Engine running.
Let's maybe try. Okay, over here. There has to be something here. Let's try approaching it from a different angle. Okay, see? I started right here, instead of back there. Various access points to certain full-screen windows, such as... Yeah, I know that part. I'm well aware of that. Thank you very much. Alright, well, let's just leave. This is fine. It's 85% done. It's not the end of the world not getting 100. Now let's go back.
All clear.
And we will be able to do some research. So back to our settlement we go.
All clear.
Which is not very far away. Right here. Now we can unload everything. Need to be a bit closer. Wait, is this our settlement? Yeah, no, right here.
On my way.
Close enough, alright? Close enough. This is like a different angle. Hold on. Yeah, right here. This was our entry point. This is like the actual access point, so we need to go here. Let's go. Not that, thanks. Not that either. Right here.
I'm at the wheel.
Let's go, people. Let's just speed things up. Our resources are fine. Because, yeah, you might want to keep an eye on that. You don't want your people to starve while you're busy with an expedition. That would be a bit awkward. Now we can unload everything, like so. There you go. We keep the axe. There. Okay, yeah, we keep the axe. So now we can actually do some research. Right here. So we have one research point, one knowledge point. And I have to unlock the actual research first, like this. And then I can research the clay pit. Then we'll have brickworks, which requires another point. Does it? Actually, maybe it doesn't. Anyway, we need the clay pit. So that takes 5 minutes. Which is actually like quite a bit in terms of in-game time. This is second fastest speed. Yeah, it's not going super quickly, as you can see. But yeah, so clay will be next, and the clay requires the actual clay resource, which is over here. This is the clay deposit, which we saw at the start, right here. After that, we'll need some resources that cannot be found in our initial zone. So I think what I'm going to do now, before we wrap up this video, is load my other save, which is about 3 hours in, and show you my second colony. Okay, so here we are. This is my other save. This was my starting zone, which has fertile soil and clay, but then I needed the swamp. So here's the zone with the swampland, which is needed to get some herbs, which in turn are needed to produce some medicine by the pharmacist. So the way this works is you simply grab your Pathfinder, you load it up with resources, and you just go start a new colony. The same way you started the first one, right at the start of the game, basically. However, it is definitely a good idea to scout out the location you actually want to settle first, because you need actual colonists to start a colony, and once you load up colonists into the Pathfinder, they will need water. If they run out of water, they will literally die. So you don't want them to die. Here, if I like load up some water, and I load up a bunch of colonies, maybe not that many, like even one person, and I do this, and I start moving, they will start drinking the water. Maybe one person won't drink it very quickly, but you get the idea. You don't want people to starve on the way while you're looking for a good location for your next colony. Let's just unload this really quick. And I can also show you really quick how the trade routes work. Oh yeah, now the depot is full. My bad. But yeah, trade routes are like pretty easy. You just set up a new transport route. Let's say like this. And we can move some herbs back to our main colony. So I can load them up over here. So for example, I can load up 20 in a single trip. Then I can unload them when I get here. And I can load something else in my home colony. For example, tools. Doesn't have to be a lot. Something like this. Maybe like a little bit of plastic or some scrap. I don't really need a whole lot at that colony anymore. But maybe some carbon masks. So I can do something like this. Load, unload. Then I can assign the pathfinder. Right here. Accept. I can also check this option here to destroy blocking resources. So any resources that block an inventory slot at a waypoint when loading another resource will be destroyed. I can do that, but I don't have to. And then he will just start running this automatically. Also, what you can do when you need your vehicle temporarily, you can just grab it, you can move it, like maybe I can move it to loot a bunch of ruins, and once I'm done, I can just click over here and he will resume the trade route. So I like that. And judging by this minimap over here, the map is actually pretty big. So I don't know if it gets even bigger than this, but even if it doesn't, like this is already fairly big. However, that is going to be the end of this video now, so thanks for watching all the way to the end, and as I said at the start, if you find this game interesting, one of the best things you can do is to wishlist it on Steam. This applies to pretty much any game. Maybe like not super popular games that don't exactly need more visibility, but any less known game benefits a lot from being added to wishlists. Well, anyway, again, thanks for watching all the way to the end, I appreciate it, and I will see you next time.